Dan, I can't do this anymore. I just need some space right now. I want to take a break and figure it out. You see, man, I tried everything, and I mean absolutely everything to save our relationship. I tried being the nice guy. I tried treating her like a queen. I tried to make it work by doing more and trying more. But despite ignoring all the obvious red flags, it still ended up dying and leaving me alone to lick my wounds. And the worst part about this, man, is that even in the early stages of dating, to be honest, there was a niggling feeling inside me that something wasn't right, because I saw signs that told me that this woman wasn't the dream girl that I'd always wanted, but I thought I had no other choice because I felt I was getting older and I felt time was running out. And after hitting 35, I realized that there are no more chances to say, oh, it's okay, I'll figure it out when I'm 20, 25, 30. No more delayed excuses and no more opportunities for second chances in life. And so since I thought that this woman and relationship was the pinnacle and everything that I was worthy of and capable of attracting and the best I could get, I decided to bury all the red flags, to rationalize them and get into a relationship with her. And spoiler alert, man, it was probably the worst decision of my life. The lack of respect, lack of sexual desire, and endless arguments were getting worse by the day until we finally reached the breaking point in our relationship. We were eventually separated for a whole 9 months, and I kind of began seeing and dating some new chick casually. And I thought telling my ex straight up would be the right thing to do. Wrong. She came back at me for everything. 2 weeks later, I had divorce papers demanding $500,000 in cash and full custody over our daughter. And so in that moment, what was left of my whole world came crashing down on me. So in this short video training, I want to share with you the full story of how trying for so long to make a toxic long-term relationship work, losing over $350K in a rough divorce, and basically having my 18-month-old daughter stolen from me actually turned out to be hands down the best thing that ever happened to me. And it's the exact reason that I was able to go on almost 30 first new dates with high-quality women in just 9 weeks. And from that, find the love of my life as a 5'5" divorced single dad, a businessman in his 40s, without any flirting skills or dating game, without feeling inadequate or unconfident when talking with women, with zero idea of how to attract that one dream girl. But most importantly, I'll show you exactly how to implement the same natural attraction dating methods that I learned after 10 years of experience in the field and helping over 120 men like yourself go on dates with quality women on a weekly basis. And that's without having to be the nice guy, without any previous online dating experience or success, without having to sacrifice your career or business, so that you too can start going on at least 1 to 3 dates per week with quality women and get that step closer to finding that one dream girl that you'd spend the rest of your life with. So let's just go back in time so that you can fully understand my fucked up life story a little better. All right, so when I was in grade 5, new school, I fell madly in love with a girl called Renee, all right? And she really didn't love me back, and it was humiliating, and I didn't know what to do. I was embarrassed, and so I wrote her a love note, and I, can't even remember how I got that to her. I put it in a bag or something, but everyone found out and started bullying me for it. I was the laughing stock on the playground. Obviously, that hurt like hell. And even worse, at some point, I wrote, I love Renee on the steamed mirror in the bathroom, and the local tradie saw it and went and told her parents. Hugely embarrassing. I was a laughing stock of the community. It was so humiliating. And at that point in my life, I developed a huge amount of shame around feeling attraction and desire for women. Okay. Now, fast forward to grade 7. I'm the shortest guy in class. I'm in a new school again. I'm trying to get attention of the gorgeous girls that I see. And basically, they just never even cared that I existed. And I had all this pent up shame inside me. I had zero self-confidence in asking girls out. And on the odd occasion that I did, I would end up being brutally rejected and hurting my ego even more because of my lack of self-worth and self-confidence. And long story short, my horrible experiences with women and girls over the years led me to develop, in simple terms, a fear around women. And I felt insecure about expressing my sexuality to them in case they rejected me, because I saw it as a rejection of me. Okay, I felt that being sexual or putting myself out there or being told no or being rejected was wrong, that it was embarrassing, and that I would be punished in some way and told off, and that I would feel that intense humiliation. And I was deeply ashamed. And the thing is I never talked to anyone about how I felt. On the surface, I was like, yeah, everything's cool. Okay. So I thought no one would understand what I was going through. But the real problems then began once I left school and I was in my 20s living in Sydney and around the world. And I started having some really awful experiences with women. And even though I was pretty successful in my career and I had a few steady relationships and some random hookups here and there over my time, it was because I was trying really hard, right? It was never with women that I actually wanted. And these relationships kind of chose me rather than me choosing them. All right. And so you could say that they landed on my lap, and I hadn't actually been in charge of the process. I had no idea what I was doing or how they happened or what I did differently. And ultimately, this led me to, in my 30s, without a life partner, getting older and older, and with goals of wanting a family and all of these things. And I felt like the walls were closing in on me. And I just had to find that one girl to settle down with, okay, and start a family with. A girl who'd love me to death and stay truly loyal to me for the rest of my life. It's the dream, right? So I decided to try to figure it out. I tried cold approaching in bars and I didn't get anywhere with that. I tried following the PUA tactics crap and I failed miserably at all of that. And I even dabbled in online dating where I found a little bit of success. This is in the early days, RSVP dating and stuff like that. So I met this seemingly beautiful girl on a dating app in my 30s, and we went on a few dates and things seemed to be going pretty well. But truthfully, I didn't know what I wanted by now. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what I was doing. I was a rudderless ship. Internally, I was a mess. I didn't even realize how bad it actually was. I had no real plan, just had desire, untamed desire. I had no vision, just a need for validation. And I had not done any inner work on myself to uncover my true powers of attraction and sexual confidence. And so I was simply, as I said, a rudderless ship, and I was still full of suppressed hurt, shame, and fear from all the years leading up to this point. And the worst part about all of that, like I said, no one would have guessed this about me at all, because on the surface, I was absolutely full of confidence. But when it came to the topic of women, I made endless excuses to my friends and the people around me so nobody would actually find out what I was truly feeling on the inside about myself, about the process, about life, the confusion, the uncertainty, the doubt, the fear, the anxiety, the anger even at, why is it so difficult, right? So I would often appear as a tough guy who has no problem talking with women. And I would say things like, oh, I've got no problem talking to women. And it's just, and I'm just really happy being single right now. Okay. Nevertheless, back to the story about my ex. So we decided to take this 2-week, I suggested she should move in with me. And then we decided to take a 2-week overseas trip together after dating for a while. And it was a total disaster. We had some absolute shocking fights on this trip that were beyond anything you could imagine. The whole town that we were staying in could hear us screaming. And even after all of this, like an idiot, because of my lack of vision, my lack of confidence that I could actually create what I wanted, I decided to take the relationship to the next step, and I let her move in anyway. And deep down, on reflection, I realized that this was all that I thought I was worthy of. I thought this was all that I could get. I thought this was the best that I could get because I'd been trying so long. Since grade 5, I'd been trying to get the women of my dreams. I'd been trying to attract women. And it had failed and failed and failed and failed. And so I thought, this is it. I've got to make this work. So I ignored every red flag known to man. Okay, it was like imagine a fire station with alarm bells ringing, and I'm there in the beanbag going, no, there's nothing to see here. So the very first night after she moved into my place, she had a massive meltdown, screaming, slamming doors, threatening me with violence, and she wanted to leave, right? It was a threat that she gave me, an ultimatum, but instead of letting her go, I begged her to stay, all right? And really, it was the most pathetic and dumbest decision of my life, but also maybe the best on the other side of the coin. So from then on, it was just toxic, up and down mess, and just me trying to make it work because I figured that this was the only thing that I had left to do, okay? And despite everything going on, I thought getting married would solve all our problems. So I proposed, all right? Then she got pregnant, and I told myself I was happy that everything was going to be okay. But deep down, there was a niggling feeling, and I knew that this was wrong. Pretending I couldn't even hear my parents' subtle warnings that this woman was wrong for me. And my parents could never tell me what to do, right? Because I always rebelled against them. So they tried to get the message across to me and failed. And after she gave birth to our daughter, we decided to move to a new town together so we could live closer to our respective parents and start a business together. A newborn child, a new town, no friends, no family nearby. And it was just another major mistake. And still I hung on hoping in stupidity that things might just get better and that she might change and things would improve. I tried to keep it together. I tried to make it work, but I hated myself and I sacrificed myself to keep the peace and to keep it from exploding. And I just kept nodding and agreeing with whatever she wanted, constantly asking her, what's wrong? Only to be met with indignation from her. And then finally one night, we finally agreed to end it. Okay. And she moved into the spare room. The huge fight stopped, but it was still toxic as hell. I helped her find a place to move to over a couple of months. So we separated in the same house, but I helped her move out. She didn't want to stay in the house I was in. And we started co-parenting and we agreed on some shared parenting. And after 9 months of up and down and really tense, and I'm trying to hold my business together and we're trying to make the separation work and just trying to survive, some chick sort of came into my life again, another one that sort of just fell into my lap. And I was experimenting with women and dating. I was experimenting more as well because I already made the decision I wanted to fix this moving forward in my life. And I told my ex about a new girl I was seeing. And I thought that was the courteous thing to do, and absolutely major muck up, right? The nice guy act ended with me getting court papers 2 weeks later demanding $500,000 and full custodial and parental responsibility for my daughter. Okay, that's a massive shock. And I nearly died because on the court papers, there was an accusation that I was psychologically abusing my daughter, which was absolute rubbish, right? So lies, and it was all as a means to steal her away. It was a means of control. And I was trying to run my business on my own. There were massive problems with that. The commercial landlord, I had to eventually close down the business and move it. I had money hemorrhaging. And for 2.5 years, 2.5 years, my life was pure chaos. And I remember during that period, multiple phone calls with my brother, crying in pain, suffering. And sure, I would never kill myself, but the thought did cross my mind, okay? Things were that bad. So luckily, my sheer tenacity and will and some support from family kept me going. I defended the attack and I retained shared parental and custodial rights to my daughter at huge financial and emotional expense. All right. And I ended up losing investment property that I had before even meeting this woman. And the whole divorce cost me about $350,000 in financial losses, not to mention how much older it made me. And the whole thing was just a giant punch in the face. And so I'm just hitting my 40s and my life was in shambles. A broke, single dad, not living the life that I wanted, not living where I wanted to be, who'd somehow ended up in a long-term relationship with a woman that was completely the wrong woman for me. And trying to become a parent, trying to save a business, and all of this suffering was the wake-up call that I needed to turn my life around. Okay, and I decided to figure out where I went wrong and how I ended up like this. And so I began to do the work on myself. I began the journey, and I took responsibility for it. Okay, I still had anger and bitterness and blame towards her, but I said, no one can fix this for me. She can't fix it. I've got to fix it. So I took full responsibility for all of it. And I realized that obviously the one thing holding me back and from creating the life that I wanted was me, not my ex-wife, not my self-esteem, not my dating skills, me. I was my own biggest enemy. And I thought, I'm shorter, broker, and less muscular than all of these rich alphas online with Lambos and watches. What chance do I have, little old Dan? Or what if I can never get the confidence to talk to pretty girls? What if I never find that one dream woman to build the family with? What if I remain alone for the rest of my life? But this could not have been further from the truth because, you see, I realized it wasn't the external things that drove women wild. Okay, you ready? It was who I was on the inside, how I felt about myself, how I felt about myself, what I thought about myself, what I believed about myself, my personality, my energy, my self-confidence, who I was on the inside that real women actually care about. These women aren't attention whores. They're not, and they're looking for a great guy to love, cherish, and respect. And the smart, gorgeous, conservative women care more about the kind of person that you are, the man that you are, rather than how big your ego is and all your material things. And they want a man with ambition. They want a man on a mission. And has got a vision for his life, and a man who's attractive because of who he is inside, not what he has to prove on the outside. A guy who has himself figured out, knows what he wants, okay? And so this is even all the TV shows, Instagram and school brainwashed you into thinking the complete opposite, and it continues to do that. You cannot be the nice guy. You cannot be a people pleaser who's controlled by women, because these relationships never end well, as you've discovered yourself. That's why you're here. You have to be the natural masculine dominant leader in the relationship, not the woman. And this means fundamentally shifting the way that you feel about yourself and you act around women. And brother, this means taking charge like the big daddy with her, okay? No more passive, oh, what do you think, babe? Or letting her make all the choices. You have to become the man inside, and everything else changes. And the guy who's capable of naturally attracting quality women because of the kind of man that he is. And this is why things had to change for me as well. But I knew trying to figure it out by myself wouldn't work, so I started investing in myself. I studied a lot at night. I hired coaches and mentors, and something that I should have done in my 20s, not my 40s. Slowly but surely, things started to go well. I began to understand everything there was to know about the modern dating market, all right? How to attract quality, beautiful women with very little effort. How to talk to women sexually and flirt like a pro and without stressing. Okay, how to set up the perfect online dating profile that yields matches effortlessly. You're all out there saying dating apps don't work, and that's what 95% of people say. That's why you hear it all the time. That's why you believe it. But you've never set up a dating app that works. Okay, it's a different story. And so, but most importantly, all of this is about working on myself and my sexual confidence to put myself out there, knowing what I want and feeling unapologetically deserving of it. Setting boundaries, telling women no, refusing to accept women just for their looks or their sex. And finally, after decades and a lifetime of dreaming of this exact moment, I was able to achieve the life that I've always wanted. Everything from talking to women to sexual confidence to being able to attract the one girl who would stay truly devoted to me for the rest of my life and be the right woman for me. And I went from being the insecure, self-loathing, self-hating guy who wouldn't even think about approaching women to going on 300 plus dates over the years with quality women and a few not so quality women in just a few short years, all while learning how to be an amazing single dad, right? So, and building strong relationship with my daughter and building a business. And I worked out what women want at a deeper level, not just learning stupid pickup lines or looking good or, you know, what car I drove, but the actual psychological principles behind women's desires. And so the natural attraction dating blueprint was born. You see, I knew there were other guys out there going through the exact same situation as I was. I have multiple male friends my age going through what I went through, okay, at this point in time. So I decided to use my knowledge and do some good in the world and serve the world. And I started teaching a natural attraction dating blueprint to other men just like me going through a divorce or separation. And the results were amazing. Okay, so take, for example, Kyle Baker, 44. You know, Kyle had been in a, destroyed self-esteem from a long loveless marriage with a wife cheating on him, unsure what to say or do in the modern dating scene, chasing women to no end, thinking that he had no problem talking to women. He didn't. He had no problem talking to women, but he talked himself into the friend zone every time. Okay, and after gaining massive self-confidence and self-esteem through the work that we did, he started dating multiple beautiful quality women, having naked hot tub parties with women, and finding an amazing girlfriend, and just taking himself to the next level and even making more money in his business. What about Gary Button, 56? You know, before he'd been in a marriage where he'd been completely downtrodden. He'd become a real people pleaser in his marriage. He'd been hugely miserable. He was struggling to even date women he considered fours, and he hated himself for it. Self-esteem and self-confidence shot from years of neglecting himself, massively overweight. And then after, doing the work, he started picking up young hotties even in the grocery store, cold approaching and going on instant dates, which is same-day dates, which resulted in sex, started having total control over his dating results. He wasn't settling for low-quality women ever again. He started having women fight over him and booking rooms to steal him away for the weekend and finding his soulmate and the most beautiful, gorgeous girlfriend. Okay. What about Stacy? This is a photo of Stacy on his very first call with me. All right. He allowed himself to be completely owned in his marriage. He left his balls at the door. He hated his wife and life, but he felt trapped and disempowered to create the change that he wanted. And then he started, after the marriage broke down, he started chasing a toxic woman who treated him like shit. And he just kept taking it. He just kept bending over and taking it. That's where he was at when I met him. And now, in a very short time, he lost 20 kilos with my help. He started dressing like a boss. He started getting back his self-respect. He started learning about his sexual dominance, how to set boundaries, how to set expectations, how to communicate sexually with women. And he started dating multiple gorgeous women and acting like the man and feeling like the man. And women started throwing themselves at him and approaching him and even flirting with him. Okay. Then there's Andre, 44, single dad. He was facing divorce with very low self-confidence in himself. He was socially inept and stifled. He could not even talk. He told me the story about he was at a party and standing there in the corner, and a woman came up and said, "Hey, my girlfriend likes you," and he couldn't even go and talk to the girl. Okay, that's how much fear he had, and he'd been destroyed by a narcissistic ex who took his son away, unable to talk to women sexually at all, completely paralyzed with fear and rejection. And after working with me, he started dating all the hot women in town, having young girls chasing after him. He went from socially retarded to becoming a social master. Congratulations, Andre. And crossed the barrier from a shy friend zone to a sexually confident man. It's insane results, okay? Dennis, before, he was a single dad whose daughter didn't even really want to see him. His marriage had broken down because he stopped taking care of himself. He was needy. He was codependent. He started working from home after the breakup, and he shut himself away. He was drinking beer, playing video games, getting fat, completely isolating himself from the world. And, after starting with me and in just 3 months, he'd lost 25 kilos in 2 months on my hardcore shred plan that I gave him. He fixed his skin, hair, and style. He found his value again. He started to find his self-confidence and self-esteem, how to talk to women, how to attract women, and he went from 0 to 1,000 in 3 months. Met his dream girlfriend, okay, Carla, in 3 months, and they started having amazing experiences together and doing all the things that he always wanted to do, an amazing social life, and he even developed an amazing social life, and his daughter loves him again. This is Dennis when I met him here, okay? Who's up next? James R., a business executive, 40, single dad, handsome guy, tall. All the things that guys say, oh, if I just get more money and if I just get more muscles and if I just get more, better car, then women are going to love me. James has all of this when he came to me. 6'2", good looking, muscles, tats, the typical male model looking guy. Look, here he is here, right? But an empty dating life. And again, the common belief, I have no problem talking to women or thinking dating apps don't work. He just lacked strategy and sexually desirable communication and knowing what he was supposed to do. And so after I installed all of that with him, obviously a guy that's got, the male model look, he's going to crush it. But it just goes to show that getting all of these things and looking like a male model does not fix your dating life. I want you guys to get that. It's not about those things. Yes, they help. And if you're fat and ugly, you're not going to be able to attract the same level of women that a 6'2", muscular, tattered man is going to be able to attract. You're just not. That's a fact. But I taught him how to communicate through text in a way that drove sexual desire. I taught him how to communicate with women. His dating app went from a cold, dead turkey to a hot, wet lady killer in 3 months by taking the right photos. And he had women coming over to his place on lunch break for sex and all sorts of things. His confidence skyrocketed and went through the roof. And he started rediscovering his self-worth and self-esteem. And it just made him literally unstoppable, okay? Take Sal, for example, okay? He was married for over 2 decades. It was the only long-term relationship he had. It became a sexless, passionless marriage. He did he's the nicest guy, okay? Sal, he's the most nicest guy. And so he thought just being nicer would work. So he did everything to please his wife. So he had a typical dominant Catholic mother who retained authority over him into adulthood. And, through that, that setup, he was shamed for his sexuality and his marriage broke down. Here he is getting no dates, no idea how to find, meet and date women. And after he came on board and we worked with him, he went from an attraction rating, you can see here, an attraction rating of 3.2 out of 10. This is what his photos on his dating app were getting, to a 9.4 out of 10 attraction rating on his dating app, right? He went from a 3 to a 9. He went from a 4 to a 10. Okay, so we flipped the script on that. We flipped the script on his texting. He started communicating as an attractive, desirable sexual man, and he changed his identity from a people-pleasing yes man to a dominant, leading, take no shit boss man. It's an internal shift, guys. It's an internal change. And he met his dream girlfriend after just 5 months of starting work with me, going stronger than ever to this day. Right now, he's over in Brazil with Polly, and he messaged me a couple of days ago and said he's having the time of his life. Okay, what about Leo? Leo, zero interest from women, was beginning to think he would die alone. This is Leo. This is original Leo here. This was some photos from his original dating app, all right? He carried a lot of sexual shame from his religious youth. He wanted a family and kids, but he's in his 40s and he started thinking it was impossible. He started thinking he was going to die alone. His self-confidence was still shattered from a breakup 4 years ago, and he had no belief in himself and he didn't see any value in himself. We addressed his style, grooming and looks and started dressing like a boss. People noticed. People in the office started saying, wow, Leo, you look hot. We uncovered his hidden self-confidence. He started approaching women and dating cute girls, started making record sales in his company, doing 10 times better at work than ever before, having the time of his life and dating women to find his dream woman and the future mother of his kids. That's what Leo's doing now. This is him now. This was him before. Okay, huge jump. And I could go on, but I think you get my point. This method of dating actually works, right? This works. And unlike what most young and inexperienced pickup artists and cold approach, red pill gurus teach you on social media these days, guys, in my Real Men's Dating Academy, I teach you the absolute foundational principles behind attraction, dating, and the psychology of women that you won't find anywhere else. How to basically understand women better than they understand themselves. How to know what they're thinking and what they actually want. How to know what women want. The age-old question, right? What do women want? Not what you think they want, or not even what women say they want, because, going with what women say they want, how's that worked out for you so far in that long relationship where she trod all over you and disrespected you, okay? After you did everything that she told you that she wanted. And this is why the Real Men's Dating Academy is so different, and why so many men aged 40 to 55 are getting incredible results using these dating methods, because I have more dating and marriage experience than 98% of relationship coaches and dating gurus you see online. And also because we not only teach you the what, but also the how and the why. And not only that, but I also teach you how to become the true dominant masculine sexual leader in a relationship who's prepared to take on the world. Okay? Proper king for a proper queen. And just like I now have a beautiful girlfriend whom I chose, okay, there are no fights. We have a plan and a vision for the future, and everything is going smoothly and wonderfully, and everything is improving and everything gets better. Our relationship gets stronger and deeper as time goes on, and together we're achieving our goals and our vision, okay, which I'm the leader of. It's not her vision, it's my vision that she's on board with. And this is a kind of relationship where she ties her hair back and kneels down in the living room just because she's excited to be with me. All right, just because she wants me to win. She wants me to be happy. She wants to serve me in that way. She wants to please me, not in a people-pleasing way, in a positive, constructive way. The kind of woman, and she cooks incredible artisan food that, frankly, I'd never be bothered trying to invest in learning myself. That's her passion. She's great at it. And the kind of woman who shares my vision with me. And I'm finally living the dream life I've always wanted ever since I was a kid. So I don't regret any of my decisions and choices. But by now, man, you're probably wondering how you can do the exact same. So here's how the dating blueprint works. All right. Phase 1, we're going to do a dating profile setup. All right. First, we're going to have to get you back in the game and start going on at least 1 to 3 dates on a weekly basis. For this, we're going to build a killer online dating profile with new edgy photos, new edgy bios that are going to get you matches with beautiful women on a daily basis. And even if you're under 5'7" like me, even if you're not a ripped bodybuilder, even if you have no online dating experience, and trust me when I say this, this is way easier to do than you think, especially using my techniques, my frameworks for setting up a great profile. All right. And just a bit of a warning here, it's not just about fancy photos and a great profile. It's about standing out and being different from every other guy on the dating app. All right. And we're going to teach you how to do exactly how to do that. And then phase 2 is texting mastery, because we're going to focus on turning all those matches and all the hard work into dates by learning to communicate sexually and seductively, take risks, and position yourself as the prize worth winning. How to think, feel, act, and be the king that gorgeous women want to be with. And this is by far the most advanced texting framework you will see on the internet. Okay? It's amazing. So because it also includes your own custom programmed AI assistant to help you seduce women with absolute ease and help make the learning process as easy and smooth as possible. Okay, AI cannot do the work for you, but I will show you how to build and program your own AI that will give you a turbo boost in the process. So you don't have to be the most interesting guy in the world or appear as the nice guy. We focus on making you become the sexual masculine leader that women actually desire, so that you can have them asking you to go on a date. All right. Phase 3 is natural attraction creation. So once you start going on dates, you do not want the hard work that you've put into this so far to go to waste by not going on a second date or worse, not even giving you a simple kiss at the end of the date or during the date. So in this step, what we're going to focus on is making you the woman's best date of her life. We'll teach you the same methods that over 120 plus men have used to fix their body language, seduction skills, communication skills, dating techniques, physical escalation, how to kiss, how to touch, to make the woman desire you in every possible way. And you'll learn how to date with ease and confidence, even if you're a boring guy who's not the best looking. All right. And then phase 4, vision and clarity establishment. It's the most important part of the process. And this is probably why, in many ways, your past relationships have failed, because you haven't done this work, right? Quality women only want men who know what they want at a deep level and that have a vision and a plan for the future. It's absolutely critical. But not only that, you've also got to be able to communicate this. What we've got is we've got a knowledge gap with you, and then we've got a communication gap. You're not communicating this stuff to women in a sexually attractive, desirable way. And so you're going to become someone without, and it sounds like you've got to completely turn your whole world upside down. No, you don't have to do that. It's about internally becoming someone who she can believe in and feel safe leaning into whatever circumstances. And again, this is about how you think, feel, and believe about yourself, and as a result, how you come across to the women that you're interacting with. And so we're going to figure out what your dream partner and what your dream life look like with her, what your dream relationship looks like, and how to get there ASAP, and what's stopping you from getting there, and how to communicate that with her. And so the belief shifts that you'll experience are something that will change the way you make decisions about women dating and look at your life and yourself forever. And then lastly, the relationship retention stuff. This is great because once you're regularly dating women, I'm going to show you how to select your dream partner, red flags to look out for, how to set the right boundaries and expectations so you can create the relationship you've always dreamed about. And this is probably the most important decision that you're going to make in your life. So you've got to do this right. Okay, that's all I got for you today. All right. So right now I've got a simple proposition for you. If my humbling story reminds you of or resonates with your own past pain, struggles, and setbacks with women and relationships, and you're ready to see if you have what it takes to unlock the natural attraction dating blueprint so you can start dating more beautiful women in just a few short weeks, take a minute to scroll down below this video and book a complimentary coaching session with me. All right. We'll go over your current dating situation, your goals, and what's stopping you from getting there, and ultimately to see if you'd be a good fit for me and what I do. But also, what's more important, a good fit for the other absolute winners in the community of the Real Men's Dating Academy, because we don't allow losers in there. And I guarantee 1 to 3 dates per week with high quality women in just 4 months of working with me. And if for some reason you've put in the work, all the work, you've done everything that I say, and you still aren't seeing progress, I will coach you for free of charge until you're going on consistent dates. because I don't let guys off the hook that easily, right? So scroll down to book that private, confidential, no obligation time with me, and we'll go from there. Do not make any more excuses in your life that prevent you from taking action and actually changing your life. And upon enrolling in the Real Men's Dating Academy, here's what you get. You get access to an elite community of absolute killer men who are absolutely crushing it in their careers, business, and life, and won't settle for anything less than the best. You'll be surrounding yourself. If the 5 people you spend the most time with will determine your success in life. Weekly coaching calls with me personally, where you can ask me absolutely anything that's on your mind, and we can solve problems and get you moving through the process. All the life-changing course material that's going to help you start dating quality women ASAP, hands-on, one-on-one support and accountability for any questions, struggles, or setbacks. It makes it impossible to fail. Just imagine how it would feel to have a dating expert and your boys looking over your shoulder as you start going on dates with full confidence, knowing exactly what to do and having the ability to get feedback in real time from other guys on the same journey as you. Imagine how fun and amazing that would be. And it truly is, okay? And to join a community of like-minded men who understand exactly what you're going through and who you can make friends with and make allies with. And besides all of that, you'll also learn the art of seduction and how to go on high-quality dates in less than 30 to 60 days, even if you've been out of the dating game for ages and you missed the Instagram and digital revolution, right? Because you were tied in a marriage, so you don't even have any good photos of yourself. You've never used dating apps. You don't really use social media, right? You had no need to. You just use it for scrolling and stuff. You get access to my high-level texting framework and your own AI assistant to stop you from ever getting ghosted and left on scene again. And you'll learn how to build up your self-confidence and self-esteem so that you have no problem whatsoever approaching and talking with women ever again. The list is endless. I could go on. I'll teach you absolutely everything after going on well over 300 dates myself and coaching over 120 men just like you to get insane results. And the worst case, let's say you carve out a little time for a complimentary coaching session with one of the most experienced, passionate dating coaches in the game, and you walk away with insights and strategies that will instantly level up your love life. That's the worst case scenario. In the best case, you take your first steps towards a monumental change that you've been dreaming of for the longest time possible. Either way, you win. Look, I understand the dating market has changed drastically, and finding beautiful women as an old guy can feel totally impossible. But look at one of my clients, Rod. Okay, Rod's 57. All right. This is a message that I received on the 6th of December from Rod. Deborah is the most amazing person I've ever known. She continues to surprise me on the upside. We boost each other to new levels. I've never felt so happy and relaxed. She told me to buy a chick magnet after my old family car was stolen. I'm so glad I did. Picture of the car. This is Rod and Debbie. Met her within just 3 months of working with me. He was a single dad. His wife left him. He was going through a tough divorce. He was suffering from the typical chronic people pleaser syndrome. He was always avoiding difficult conversations. He was avoiding conflict and not leaning into it. And he was staying downtrodden. And he came to me and he said, I'm starting to gather a string of low quality toxic exes and dating results and narcissists. He's paying for things, putting all this money over onto dates and getting absolutely nowhere. And he thought at 56, there was no way that he could meet a beautiful woman and create the relationship of his dreams. Okay. All right. Let's just have another look. Here we go. Right. And after just 3 months, we quickly dug up his suppressed, dominant, bold sexual masculinity. He completely turned himself around and he started commanding respect and attention, and his results at work exploded. He started dating multiple beautiful women. They were all chasing him until he met Deb, high quality, gorgeous, well put together woman. And they're still in a relationship to this day, as you just saw from the message. And like I said, this isn't just another one of those $47 dating courses from relationship gurus with millions of fake followers or some shady pickup artist tactic that doesn't work. We focus on building concrete foundations so you can become a sexual masculine man capable of real vision and leadership so women want to follow you. Okay, take for example, Stacy. We've already mentioned him. This was Stacy when I met him. This is Stacy now. Okay, this is Stacy with one of his girls, right? When I first met him on Facebook, he had completely devalued himself through past marriage and he was full of self self-loathing. He was chasing a low-quality woman to be with him, and she was treating him like absolute dirt. And he was starting to really hate himself, and he'd lost trust in himself and the world. And he wanted something to change, but he had a hard time believing it was possible for him anymore. He thought, after seeing my client results, that they could not be doing this well. This must be another suspicious, shady PUA tactic. But over the course of a small amount of time, I gently helped him realize that it was about becoming an attractive man once again and finding that raw, masculine sexual energy which he had suppressed for years. And with a few small belief shifts, he took what felt like to him an incredible risk on himself. He committed to the process, he committed to his investment, and he paid for his enrollment. And once he'd made that decision, everything changed for him. This is the thing. You resist the commitment to doing the work, and you resist the commitment to change. But when you do, just a few months later, Stacey became a star client. He ditched that other chick that was walking all over him, and pretty soon we hyper-optimized his dating app, fixed his appearance, and together we dug into his inner world of false beliefs, identities, and negative self-talk, and we found the caged beast that was hiding within him. And slowly but surely, he started having gorgeous women chase after him at work, everywhere. They were approaching him, and his life did a complete 360. He started dominating at work more. He started earning more money, getting pay rises, while enjoying his life to the fullest with pure joy and happiness. And from thinking that becoming a hot, desirable, attractive man was a scam, Stacey was so successful at his transformation that he became my assistant coach, helping other men tackle their demons to start dating the women of their dreams. Take a look at Gary again, with absolutely zero understanding on how to attract and go on dates with beautiful women. He had no cold approach experience, no idea how to talk to women or how to set up a proper dating profile. He wasn't special or different in any way whatsoever. And look at him now, okay? Amazing, right? He's absolutely killing the relationship game, becoming one of my best client case studies up to date. And that's pretty much it. I've given you proof that this works for every kind of situation and scenario under the sun, but I'm not here to convince anyone who doesn't want to win already. Okay? It's up to you to decide if you're ready to win or keep making the same mistakes over and over again. How long have you been suffering in bad results for? 3 years? Well, if you don't do something different, what's going to happen at the end of the next 3 years? And you're going to end up feeling the same way every single day. And so if you found this video training valuable by any chance, then like I said, scroll down below and just book a short complimentary coaching session with me directly and see if you have what it takes or not. You'll be taken to a form where you can fill out a few quick questions that'll help me understand your current situation a little better, and then you'll simply pick a time that works for you best and book a call. Now, keep in mind that we only take in men who are serious about making a change in their lives. This is not for losers who say, stay single, kings. We don't have people like that. For men who hate and blame women for their own failures. For amateur men who haven't succeeded in other areas of your life. We only have winners and killers in this community. And this is not for men feeling doubtful or uncertain about taking action or their own possible success. So if that sounds like you in any way, then please just leave the page. Don't book a call, because what I do is not going to work for you. But if you're a real man ready to take full responsibility for your own success, take control of your love life, and build up your self-confidence around women, take a second, scroll down, book a call with me below. I promise, if you commit yourself to the process, you will see amazing results in just a few short months. Peace, guys. See you on the call.